The obvious story of the week, injuries. I haven't seen so much knee buckling since Destiny gave me a reach around. Oh. Major hardships in the future for some in the gala, but also some major opportunities for others. I'm very uncomfortable, and welcome to the Weekly Giggity. Well, let's get into some news and notes, shall we? News and notes! Alright, let's start with the obvious two, huh? Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey. Run CMC has been placed on the IR with a high ankle sprain. He's expected to miss the next 4 to 6 weeks. With Raheem Mostert also going down with a sprained MCL, Nipple's running back situation has flipped a 180 compared to the previous 2 weeks. All 4 of his acting running backs right now happen to be rookies. Saquon Barkley will miss the rest of the season with a torn ACL. This is tough for Bobo, as his 49er running back and Tevin Coleman also dealing with a knee injury and is expected to miss some time. Jason is only left with Derrick Henry and second-year back Devin Singletary at the running back position until coming up. Alright, I mentioned Mostert and Coleman, but that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the 49ers. Nick Bosa and Solomon Thomas will miss the rest of the year with torn ACLs. Jimmy G is dealing with a high ankle sprain, and Kittle could be held out this week because of growing turf conditions at MetLife Stadium. Cortland Sutton hasn't played a snap this year, and won't see one for the Beer Bitch squad in 2020. Sutton will miss the entire season with a torn ACL. His quarterback Drew Lock will also miss some time with a sprained AC joint. Packers star wide receiver Devontae Adams is dealing with a hamstring injury, the severity of which is unknown at this time. He's yet to practice this week and was held out of the fourth quarter last week against the Lions. Tyrod Taylor is dealing with some conspicuous chest and lung issues. I think we all know the story here. Rookie quarterback Justin Herbert, who shined in his first career start, will take over the starting job for now. Not practicing this week so far, Cam Akers, Malcolm Brown, Jamison Crowder, A.J. Brown, Phillip Lindsay, Christian Kirk, Deontay Johnson, Zach Moss, and Julio Jones. Other notable injuries include Tavon Young, Brandon Scherf, Malik Hooker, Byron Jones, Bruce Irvin, Anthony Barr, and Caleb McGarry. Well, guess what? The blind bid waivers have cleared and was led by Bobo betting big on the Niner backfield, taking Jerick the Jet McKinnon for $16. More running backs follow as Kevin goes after Josh Kelly for $10 and Jason grabs ex-Niner Mike Davis for $8. Other notables were Kevin taking Russell Gage for $5 and Colts defense for $3. Nipple grabbed up his homer Gardner Minshew for $2, and while Tannehill and Tampa D found their way to Jason, Sam dropped Prater for Daniel Carson, and Tony dropped Carson Wentz in the favor of rookie Justin Herbert. Nor also dropped T.J. Hawkinson in favor of Tyler Higbee. Well, that was painful. Let's move over to something just a little more painful. The weekly recap. The weekly recap. So I was 2 for 5 this week. And, I heard that y'all want me to take a shot for every one I get wrong. It's going to be a fun show, right? Okay. Match 1. Gomez versus Slater. Cheers to missing out on the shootout of the week. This one was tight all the way through. Coming down to the last drive on Monday night, but Drew Brees couldn't get Slater past Gomez, who was led by another stellar Ravens defense. Solid games from Melvin and Waller made up for the lacking players throughout his lineup. A hurting Julio and a quiet CEH with a downfall for Tishy here. He falls to Gomez 97-93. Shocker. Golden Tate getting the start against a strong Chicago defense over Julian Edelman and that forgotten Legion of Boom. Edelman had a monster Sunday night compared to Tate's 47 yards and would have gotten Slater the win.
Showstopper.
The Baltimore D is fierce. That Baltimore D is fierce, sacking Watson 4 times and getting in the end zone on a fumble recovery. A tough matchup this Monday night, and a banged-up secondary could be a quick reality check for Gomez. Match 2, Tony versus Corey. By far the highest scoring matchup of the week, both teams had strong lineups. It's just hard to win when your opponent sets a Gridiron Gala single-week record for points scored. Corey puts up 165 and leaves no doubt early, with Tony limping along behind with the second highest score of the week. Corey shows up big, 127 to 165. Shaka! Tony went with some questionable starts, the biggest probably being newly acquired Paris Campbell over either DJ Moore or Devontae Parker. Campbell left the game before getting a single reception, putting up a fat fucking 0 for Tony here.
Showstopper.
No surprise here. Aaron Jones fucking beasted his way to 236 total yards and 3 touchdowns. He was Corey's anchor this week, getting him 40 points and helping him put up a number that Kevin hopes to get at the end of week 3. Cheers, Corey. Match 3. Noor versus Kevin. Would you believe me if I said the passing leader in the NFL right now was Josh Allen? Slim chance, right? Well, it's true. And Noor's loving it like it's McDonald's. Allen has thrown for 729 yards and 6 touchdowns through 2 weeks. It was the cornerstone for Noor putting up a big number against our beer bitch. Kevin is the lowest scorer of the week yet again and has yet to break 80. Noor dominates the Vagina Wizard 123 to 77. Shaka! The lineup seemed pretty clear, so I'll nitpick and say that Kevin not starting the target machine and Deontay Johnson proved to cost him big points this week. Wouldn't have made a difference, but fuck it.
Showstopper.
Leonard Fournette took control of the Tampa backfield after Rojo fumbled and landed himself in the doghouse. Fournette carried the ball for 12 times for 103 yards and 2 touchdowns, showing Noor's longtime lover that he still has some magic left in the beard. Match 4, Ferralis versus Areola. Battle of the quarterbacks here as both starters put up monster numbers in a matchup where both Mikes put up triple-digit weeks again. Some disappointing scores from key pieces were troublesome for both guys here. You can argue that one big run from Mostert was the difference in this one. Areola walks away with a W here, but at what cost? Final score 100 to 114. Shaka! Even though he walked away with the win, my shocker is Nipple starting Evan Ingram over Noah Fant. Yes, Ferralis could have won if he played Diggs over Thielen or Gurley, but I can't really knock him for that one. Fant has showed to be a big part of that offense, and Ingram has struggled to squeeze it.
Showstopper.
He goes out with a bang. But before suffering the high ankle sprain that landed him on the IR, Run CMC puts up 88 total yards and 2 touchdowns for Areola. You will be missed, C-Mac. Kinda. And match 5, Sam versus Jason. Saquon ran for only 28 yards before going down and really fucking Jason in more ways than one. Lamar had a quiet day and nobody can get to double digits in this seemingly stacked backfield of Bobos. Sam wide receivers stepped up big and brought home the W for the commissioner here. Final score 98 to 80. The shocker. The Jags defense held Henry in check after he has built a career on bending him over. He rushed the ball 25 times but couldn't seem to break one big. Totaling only 84 yards here and no receptions. This wasn't the only disappointment for our rusty friend out there.
Showstopper.
Ridley's believe it or not, but this man is on fire. By far the number 1 wide receiver in the league. Through 2 weeks, Ridley is seeing the targets, the yards, and the touchdowns. I'm betting he's an everyday starter from here on out for our boy Sammy. Well, good job. That was last week. This is whiskey. This is this week. Upcoming matchups.
Matchups.
Alright. Match 1. Corey versus Feralis. Corey's getting his number 1 receiver back in Kenny Galladay. Feralis with decisions to fill his Michael Thomas void. Both rosters are similar, but Mike is banged up. Both quarterbacks can put up huge weeks, though Corey's running backs do have some tough matchups in the Saints and Washington. Projected points here are 113 to 101, Corey. It's going to be hard to bet against Corey moving forward. His squad is heavy and deep. Kyler can easily put up more than 19 versus the Lions this week. But Feralis has to be smart and probably perfect with his decisions. I'm going to side with the Giant here and go with Corey. Match 2, Kevin versus Tony. Kevin is in need of a big week and must be feeling desperate. Opening the wallet on the waivers could be the turning point for this pathetic start to the season. Tony is coming off a big week and has been hitting big on the bench. So what shall prevail? The desperation states of the beer bitch or the idiocracy that is the Fun Republic? Tony is favored big here, 91 to 111. I'm 0-2 on this son of a bitch so far, but I got a good feeling about this week. Tony has great matchups up and down the board, while also getting his top wide receiver in Chris Godwin back from concussion protocol. If James White were to return from his personal matter in time to play the Raiders, it could be a big help to Kevin. Could be fun if it comes down to tight ends on Monday night. I'm going to go with Tony here. Match 3, Slater versus Noor. Noor's squad looked strong last week, but could be in trouble here in week 3. Josh Allen having to deal with Aaron Donald. Fournette is against a pretty solid Broncos front 7. And possibly no Devontae Adams. Meanwhile, Slater's coming off a nail-biter of a loss to Gomez. His wide receiver core is also in trouble with Julio and Crowder not yet practicing. Both fellas have some tough decisions to make come Sunday. For now, the projections show Slater on top, 106 to 97. If Devontae is a game day decision, that could be disastrous for Noor, being that it's a Sunday night game. I have a feeling he'll show up. I could see the Falcons resting Julio with their arsenal of wide receivers that could step up on any day. Slater is a tough call at quarterback. Hell, maybe both of them do. But for now, I like Noor. I'll go with Noor. Match 4, Ariella versus Sam. All Mike has is rookie running backs, and Sam's only rookie running back will not suit up Sunday. Sam's camp can go ham versus the Raiders, especially if James White can return to help out in the flats. Even though they are young, Mike's running backs have some juicy matchups, starting with Homer James Robinson Thursday night against the Dolphins. Sam's wide receivers have their work cut out for them, with Tyreek up in Baltimore and Calvin playing against the Bears. Early projections have this one at 92-98 in favor of Sammy. I like a couple of Mike's running back matchups here, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Allen Robinson get in the end zone this week. Besides Cam, I do like Mixon to turn it around this week and against a shoddy Philly defense. Sam's wide receivers are really going to have to carry him again. And I think it's going to happen. So I'll be going with commish on this dish. In match 5, Gomez versus Jason. Jason went heavy on the blind bids, trying to make up for the loss of his third-year stud, Saquon Barkley. And actually, both new running backs have decent matchups, especially McKinney going against the New York Giants. Gomez has options if Malcolm Brown can't go this weekend, but A.J. Brown is also questionable with a sexy matchup against the Vikings. Can Gomez put up a big number in the quarterback slot, or will Jason's scab show up and get him out of the cellar? Projections got this one going 92 to 110, with Lamar and Bobo destroyed. I think Jason has got the matchup advantage up and down. And it's about time one of them Cowboy wide receivers get in the end zone, so it might as well be Amari Cooper, right? I'm going to say Henry and McKinnon also get in for 6 this weekend. Gomez could have a different lineup come Sunday morning if some of these guys aren't healthy. And unless Tom Brady can pick it up, Gomez doesn't look too good this week. I'll be going with Jason and his scab running backs here. Well, that's it for the upcoming matchups. It's time for some Power Rankings! It's the Weekly Power Rankings! Now the third different source of power rankings in just as many weeks. These rankings come from our very own fearless IT guy, Corey Hart. They are super not biased. Number 10, Kevin Wallen. 2 straight weeks under 80 points, multiple starters on the IR, and underdeveloped depth at every position keeps the reigning beer bitch at the bottom of the boards. Kevin has to be hoping his young talent can gain their coaches and teammates' trust quickly. It's only week 2, but if things don't turn around quickly, he could be looking at a repeat. Number 9, Nor Sandu. A 1-1 record and 5th in total points scored. It may seem out of turn to have this owner so close to the bottom, but with Allen, Adams, and injury-prone Connor to be the only true fantasy playmakers, it feels like this owner may have already peaked early in the season. Number 8, Sam Nix. Sam managed to squeak out a good win this week against Jason's heavily underperforming squad, but with Mixon's low usage, Johnson's old age, and a hurting Akers crowded backfield, this weak running back core could prevent this owner from reaching the playoffs. Ugh, scary. Number 7, Alex Gomez. Back-to-back impressive wins has this owner at 2-0, but with a lack of talent at wide receiver behind an injured A.J. Brown, one has to wonder how long could Jacobs and the Ravens defense carry this team. That wasn't a bad Tim Brokaw, I think. Number 6, Jason Barcis. Starting the year 0-2 and scoring the second least amount of points, and obviously isn't ideal. But with only 2 touchdowns in 2 weeks from his positional players, positive regression is coming. One can only hope Jason losing Saquon doesn't doom this owner yet again. Number 5, Tony Funston. This unlucky owner currently sits at 0-2, but being tied for the second amount of points scored in the league. Better days are ahead for the Bronze Warrior with Kamara, Carson, and Kelsey leading the charge. Number 4, Michael Ferralis. The defending champion continues his performance streak with a pair of 100-point games to start the 2020 campaign. As long as Russ continues to cook, the lack of cap won't be an issue for this solid squad. Number 3, Alex Slater. Strong performances from Zeke, Monty, and the impressive rookie from LSU have this owner looking down at the competition. If old man Julio can learn to catch those payday balls, then this team could reach the top of the ranks. Number 2, Michael Areola. The plethora of young talented running backs gave this undefeated owner concern to start of the year. But jumping out the gate, tied with second most amount of points, will change any narrative. Losing CMC for half the season did dampen the mood, but with most of the league in injury hell, these young studs could pull through. That just leaves number 1, Corey Hart. This perennial powerhouse has returned to 2020 with a pair of triple-digit games, including a monstrous 165 outing in Week 2. Good for the largest score in Gridiron Gala history. The unorthodox draft picks and seemingly unfavorable trades year in and year out have proven to be an in-season winning formula. We'll see if this finally translates to a playoff success this year. like I said. Not biased at all. Well, at least one person will be getting their first win this week. There's no guarantee that we'll see a first loss from the top three. May your weekends be filled with many yards and a lot less carts. For the Weekly Giggity, I'm about to start editing. You have a good night.